This is KAKU. You're with the Neutral Zone. I'm Jason Schwartz, your host.
You certainly are.
Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm a man of wealth and taste. I've been around for a long, long year. So many men sold away. And I was around when Jesus Christ had his moment of doubt and faith. Made damn sure that Pilate washed his hands and sealed his face. Pleased to meet you. Hope you guess my name. But what's puzzling you is the nature of my game.
Aloha. Go ahead, Joe.
I was just going to say that with some Rolling Stones music there, and there's a big contest going over at 107.5 Kauai Radio. It's the Buzz.
Oh, yeah.
And they're giving away passes to a concert that's coming in. They're running every
Jagger?
hour on the hour. They got a Rolling Stones tune.
That was me, you know. That was me singing Sympathy for the
That was
Devil.
you singing Sympathy for the Devil?
Yeah.
Please allow me to
Doesn't that sound like
introduce
me?
myself. I'm a man of wealth and taste.
Excellent. That's beautiful.
Oh, they're doing it at 107. What do they give you? Chance to sing?
Tickets to see the show, I guess. And
Oh,
stuff like
good.
That, yeah.
Well, I'll have to see.
The Rolling Stone show. So.
Well, as you've guessed, this is the Neutral Zone. I'm Jason Schwartz. I'm here with Joel Agnew.
Yes,
the
you are.
Star of screen and stage and radio here on, I want to say Kauai, but it's the Buzz also, right?
Right, and yes, that's right. Well, it's actually my appearance is on Friday mornings at 11:10 on 11:10 a.m.
Oh, I see. Well, this is
Just like your show right now, except mine's at 11:10
right. Well, I say
at a different station
at 11:10.
with a different guy doing it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's exactly the same.
Well, you know, Joel, I brought in as my, I want to say co-host, but also a roving correspondent, because he's out in the field covering arts and music and things going on in the island. But he also he does everything. You're really out there. I always see you at all kinds of events.
Well, I do the great illusion of being everywhere all the time. It's just an illusion.
Mirrors.
Yeah. You know, there was some great shows this weekend that just closed. Were a couple of the children's shows that were done in the community, and one of them was at Seabury yesterday. That did The Lion King, which it just so happens like 2 weeks ago I was in New York City watching the Lion King. So it was kind of cool to have it, you know, to see it.
How did it compare? Favorably, right?
I gotta say that yeah, I thought it was a pretty good version of it. You know, using just kids and stuff, and
We're blessed on Maui with amazingly talented teachers and students that really are.
Well, that's yeah, it's true. There's some good schools here and some good stuff that's coming out of them. Also, the Maui on stage did a show, or I was in the process of doing a show about Beauty and the Beast, and they did a really nice job with that as well. Plus, Singing in the Rain is continuing. It's got one more weekend. If you haven't seen it yet, go call them.
Yeah, I've heard Ariel said we're getting tickets to go.
242-6969. Go get it. Yeah, absolutely. Go get it.
Absolutely.
And it may be, you may be too late if you don't take advantage of it today. But it's a great show, and I would highly recommend it to everybody.
Well, we have a guest that can't physically be here, but we're going to see him call in hopefully in a few minutes at 873-3435. So if someone hears the phone ring, that's what it is. Our guest. Paul DesLauriers is the head of the Maui Pono Network. Now, when I heard Maui Pono Network, I thought, what is this? A Hawaiian group? No, it's a group of people, of all kinds of people, that got together, and it seems created a set of values of what they thought were important for Maui County, and what would be important as issues that they would like people that they support to be. And then they went out and they did interviews of all the candidates. There were like 40 people doing interviews of all the candidates. And then they came out with their list. And I must say, I'm just rambling here, but I must say, I'm not someone who likes to see a list and say, oh, vote for these people, blindly vote. But these people at the Maui Pono Network.org, they did the heavy lifting. They went out and talked to these people, which is the great thing, as you know.
Yeah, if you want, well, there's nothing like going out and just being one-on-one with people.
And so there were like votes for 7 people in a room. I spoke to one candidate who wasn't chosen, for example, Kim Koko Yumoto. And she said, well, the way it went, there were 4 votes for Josh Green and 3 for me, and they thought that he had more money to win. So, that's why I say, you look at the candidates and you make your decisions. But this group has done a great job in sifting through. I mean, I look at some of the candidates out there, and because of my experience and time on the island, like you, but I guess I've been up close with many of them.
Yes.
Some of them don't have the doctrines of the people on their lips, nor do they seem to be easily receiving new data to make things better. They seem, I guess I can pick on him. He's the mayor, like our mayor. He thinks he has all the answers, or his team.
There's your phone call.
Oh, there's my call. Watch this. Now, that's what they call an automatic station. Everything is like the Flintstones. Remember in the Flintstones, some little bird would come in and they'd hit the thing on the head and, hey there, Paul.
Hello.
Aloha. How are you, my friend? You're on the air.
Oh, great. Okay.
I hope you got a good level. Very perfect. Paul DesLauriers of the Maui Pono Network. You're here with Joel Agnew.
Hi, Paul.
And Jason Schwartz.
Hi.
That's me. How are you? Well, welcome to our show. I was just singing the praises of your group. I was telling them that you had a whole lot of people interviewing all these candidates, didn't you? Paul.
It was quite an amazing process. I think that, first of all, in order for us to really feel very confident and excited about the candidates, we really had to do our vetting and do our due diligence. So we had a whole committee. Sean Lester was very integral in helping to lead that committee. And we had about 60 questions that we developed that really reflected core issues here on the island. And
you really did a job.
When we schedule our interviews, we would also really go into the person's background and if there's any police history or anything like that. So we asked a lot of very pertinent questions, and it really made it clear to us, the candidates who really support the Aina and the Keiki and the Kapuna for generations to come.
Well, that's great.
You could really see the distinction in terms of the answers and history and voting backgrounds and things.
And I'm sure in many races you saw a couple of candidates that were good, so I'm sure that you recognize people use your list as a guideline. You'd like them to vote for all of them, but for the lazy ones, you may have all the votes right there for them to hit the buttons. But like I spoke to one candidate who said, she was in the running and, someone else was, for whatever reasons, chosen. So I think you probably could tell me there are some pretty good candidates out there.
Well, we feel very, very excited about the 15 that are part of the Ohana candidate card, and we really do feel that they represent solutions to long-standing issues here in Maui County.
Well, that's what I liked about your website. Your website pointed out issues, and that's what I am letting my viewers know before you came on, that you did a lot of homework. You did the heavy lifting for all us lazy ones who talk about issues, but you selected the big issues, you discussed it among many people, and you had a process to go through and really see if these candidates fit your criteria. And that is a really great thing. MauiPonoNetwork.org, is that right?
Yeah, MauiPonoNetwork.org. And there you'll see a section for hot issues. And there are drop-down descriptions of really the repercussions of what's happening with the existing issues and what are key solutions. And the thing that's really incredible is that if you look at all the key solutions to these core issues, the Ohana candidates are very much in alignment with these solutions.
I'm going to play one. I'm going to play I call it a smart minute, and then I'll give you a chance to give answers. What I think is so amazing about your group is citizens. They're not politicians. They don't have any, some of them may have personal interests in candidates, but what I saw was a tremendous thing where people were coming together from all walks of life. And, you know, they were I want to say the old dyed-in-the-wool political types. And then also people that just really cared about issues. You came together. Now, I loved your little facts. In fact, I made something like this. Here, listen to this.
Welcome to the Neutral Zone.
The Neutral Zone Smart Minute.
Did you know that in 2018, 85 to 90% of food is imported to Hawaii? Food security is a serious hazard if air transit is disrupted. Maui leads the state in vegetable production with great capacity to improve. Did you know that Maui's most valuable agricultural export is GMO seed corn from Monsanto?
Your information was so filled with data that I thought, man, this group, I wish that the people of Maui were searching all the time for information about candidates and how they feel. And we get a little thing from the Maui News or Maui Times magazine. But you guys really did a great job. I just really want to commend you. And you, Paul, have done a great job in bringing to this whole process a loving, gentle side that is rarely seen in politics. You even had your people trained. I went to some of your trainings to find out when you're speaking to people how to talk in a non-confronting, non-violent way. Very, very important. Thank you for that. That is really very, very good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Jason, one of our core aspects of our mission is in the spirit of aloha. And also our name is Pono. So if we're going to do Pono and aloha, it's both an external thing that we do, but also an internal process so that we can, I think, vibrate more at that energy and consciousness of love. But it takes support. It takes consciousness. It takes breaking through subconscious belief systems and patterns. And so as community, we can support each other in that way.
Well, I really thought it was fantastic. And it made me realize the great work that you're doing that transcends politics. It brings it back to, the realm where Joel and I are, we're interested in art and music and the things that we can all be enjoying together. And I think that after the election, hopefully the election will be a bump in the road and we'll come together again. And you really bring that spirit to the whole process. Thank you. Go ahead.
Jason, I wanted to comment also on another thing that you brought up in terms of the information that we have on our website.
Yes.
And what I've been really getting in terms of really supporting this whole election process and really resolving these core issues on island, it requires an ongoing community conversation.
Yes.
And what you did in that little clip that you just did on food and food security is a really good example of taking the information that we've laid out on the website so that you could get little clips and put it in social media. I mean, it's pretty mind-blowing when you think that the average house sale in 2018 is $925,000, and you have to have an income of $220,000 a year.
Yeah, I have one of those smart minutes. Like I probably put 8 or 9 of them in here in case I had nothing to do while I'm on the air to hit a button. And I just think they're fantastic. I mean, You know, no matter who you think is a good candidate, if you go to MauiPonoNetwork.org, you're going to see issues brought up in ways that will open your eyes to what's going on. Really, job well done. You have I could name names of people that have been there in support of, I know how hard you're working right now to get the word out.
One thing that can support us, especially at this time when we're shifting gears and we're utilizing more social media, and that means paying for posts and boosts to get support to the candidates themselves. We really could use some funding, and the funding that we do get goes a long, long way because of grassroots organizing. And if people could go to the MauiPonoNetwork.org and go to the donate button that we have there, anything would be greatly appreciated. It can be small kind, or we have a maximum that we can receive from individuals because we're a PAC. We work with candidates, so the Election Commission only allows us to receive a maximum of $1,000 from an individual. So, anything though will support us that it will be greatly amplified.
Well, I'm glad that we can be here and be. We are very glad to be amplifying your message out there. That's what we're hoping to be doing with our show.
Well, thank you, Jason.
Yeah.
And exactly what you did, those little clips, this is exactly what we were hoping for, that it supports this ongoing conversation, because I think that as community, when we start to be more consciously aware of what we're truly involved in right now, when you understand the patterns of the good old boy network, when you understand, systemic change, like, for example, Kelly King has been really promoting having a professional manager to oversee all the departments.
Right.
And it's something that the Ohana candidates would really like to see, but interestingly, the people who are in control right now, the 5 county seats, and those people who are part of that good old boy network do not want to see that happen.
Well, let me see. That may really be the case, but when I think of good old boy network, to me that sounds like a conspiracy, and I actually don't think it's a conspiracy. I think it's more like these individuals aren't open to hearing community input, and sometimes because they're being told, hey, you're doing it wrong. And I think that that's what this show is about. I'm hoping we can bring up values before election and after election. And before the election, after the primary, we're going to have interviews. We're going to have candidates with candidates. And hopefully, with the help of some of the media, we're going to get the questions, and from you guys too. And I want to be able to get questions to ask candidates that are on the lips of people. And I'm not real good at taking my sword out. I'm not interested in crucifying people that are in the seats. Because if you called me a good old boy, and I'm looking and thinking, I'm not a good old boy. I appreciate what you're saying, but I appreciate that.
I understand. I understand you're calling me on categorizing.
Well, I'm concerned that the votes be clearer, and because some of the people there might be. Wouldn't it be interesting if you put all the different questions and all the different legislation together? And maybe you've done that. That's the kind of stuff that I'm hoping you do, and you can help our voters understand why you've made the decisions. Then, hey, I'm game on your list of candidates. I'm just trying to bring up for everybody's point of view.
So, Jason, let me clarify though what I meant by that. By a network, I mean it's a systemic issue, and there is a pattern that's happened here on island of the way things are. So if you look, for example, at having that professional kind of, it's like a COO for this corporation that's approaching $1 billion. And the way it is right now, that the mayor can't really choose who they want, and there's not a real vetting process. But this bill is really about, this amendment is really about having a process that involves the citizens, that's objective, that helps us get the very, very best person. And likewise also with the different committees.
Now, did that make it? I understood there were some deadlines and that we might not see it in this November's election. Do you know where that stands?
No, it didn't make it.
It didn't make it.
But the reason why it didn't make it is because of the 5 existing
votes.
Council members who are on the same page, who network together on some of these issues and see things the same way.
Do you think if they were on my show and I asked them straight out, look.
That's what I mean by that.
Well, so that's why I say about this neutral zone. That's why we're here, I hope, to say, okay, let's get some straight questions like, we have this idea of having a managing director. Why are you holding it up? Why can't we decide and figure it out later? Just like we had a GMO bill that we'd found out later that we didn't have jurisdiction, but we sure were able to get a sense of public opinion. Why are we not seeing that happen? Because of, you say, votes that exist. I'm not letting Joel talk here. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
We just brought him on to be another pretty face. In fact, the pretty face.
Radio TV face. That's what I have, radio face. Listen, I was wondering, if you don't mind me asking, how would you define what Pono means? Hello?
I would reflect on an answer that I got from Alita Atai. And I asked him, what is the essence of Pono? And he just said, spiritual alignment. And to me, that's what it really is.
Take your car and get your chakras tuned up.
Aligning to the vibration of love, of community, of connectivity, of making things right, of putting out the truth. So that's why, we did our website the way we're doing, because we're trying to really extend that truth and clarity out as best we can.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much.
Well, it's interesting. You had another group, Pono group, Raymond and Bella, and that was a very love infested. That was a wonderful thing. You
infested.
You brought.
Was Bella and Ray were just wonderful, and I think that again, as community, as we keep on supporting each other in really opening up our hearts and being in that vibration of love. And really what the workshop that Bella and Ray did was really looking at our old patterns and our old projections and those that don't vibrate in love, letting them go.
Well,
and it was a very powerful exercise.
I really enjoy this whole process of the election season because I get to step in the middle of 2 people that are firing at each other. And I realize that the goal is to stand in the middle and stop the bullets and start to look at issues as issues and let the truth rise. And, I guess the word is public embarrassment. Would our mayor be embarrassed if we showed all the pictures of all the homeless people? No. I mean, would the council people be embarrassed if we talked about their record of what they voted? That, to me, is the only, maybe that's a rather harsh thing, but I think that's what it needs. I think we have to be really publicly airing things in a nice way to say, where is truth here? How are we going to solve these problems so we have the problem solved? How are we going to get past the fact that we're 20 years behind on providing affordable housing solution? How are we going to inject solutions that don't ask the government to fund things? Can we get the private sector to do things? Have you explored any of these issues outside of government solutions? I imagine in some of your answers in your website is great. You've explored some really good things. And your point about community being involved after the election and through this whole process is very well taken.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, certainly it's community and working together on a grassroots level to really be more consciously aware of the challenges we face as community and how we can resolve these issues. The resolution that some of those things that are listed there were part of also a 4.5-hour workshop that Kelly King and Ellie Cochran gave to all of our kind of green, I don't mean green candidates, but I mean our freshman Ohana candidates.
Well, they're over my shoulder here, Paul, about
I think the way the county council works and issues and being on the same page. And it was a very powerful workshop that included also canvassers.
We're going to talk about that when we get back. They're jumping on me to go to commercial break. You'd think this was a regular station. Okay. We'll be back. You hang on there, Paul, okay? Hang on. We're going to go to the break.
We'll do.
Okay.
You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off and to wear a helmet when she rides her bicycle. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the voice of Maui, community-supported radio.
Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Allie.
And we're the Motherhood, where we tackle everything from pregnancy to graduation with a little dose of humor.
Don't forget to tune into our show on Thursdays at 2 o'clock.
And if you miss it, that's okay. You can tune in for our replay at Saturday at 1 p.m.
on KAKU 88.5 FM.
Wow.
Hi, I'm Shaggy Jenkins, Program Director for KAKU FM, the voice of Maui. We are a listener-supported station, and as such, we depend on your donations and the support of local businesses to keep our broadcast going. If you would like to help KAKU 88.5, please go to our website at kakufm.org/give to make a donation today. Thanks for your support.
Have you or someone you know been diagnosed with cancer? According to American Cancer Society, an average of 19 people a day are diagnosed with cancer in Hawaii. Pacific Cancer Foundation is a nonprofit organization that provides free support services for Maui's cancer community. Visit our website for a list of programs or to make a donation. We are all in this together. Call today, 242-7661, or visit our website, pacificcancerfoundation.org.
Well, we also have sponsors for the Neutral Zone. theMauiMiracle.org is a great website, theMauiMiracle.org. You're going to see all things about issues up there. And then, of course, Kama Aina Loan, Cash for Gold. We're very happy to have them as sponsors. Paul, you still with us?
With you.
There he is.
Good. I put your volume down in case you were doing things on your end. Well, I was just asking Joel. Joel, if you need to run, you're welcome to. You're welcome to stay.
Oh, I'm fine. I'll just stick around and see you through to the end. And Paul, I want you to know from the silent part of our side that we are very supportive of what your plans are and the fact that you're opening an avenue for communication with everyone.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Joel. We're just putting praise where praise is due.
Yeah, Joel, thank you. I just want to mention, Joel, thank you for that. And it really is about providing kind of a hub of information so that we can really continue this ongoing conversation within the community about exposing truth and really looking at real nitty-gritty solutions.
Well, thank you for that.
That's a lot what we're trying to do, Joe.
And I'm trying to do it and not be politics. You know, I mean, honestly, being sitting on this seat right here, I've invited Monsanto in whatever form and company name they are, and I've talked to people about things that, you know, may not always agree. And I hope that we can be that forum with communication, an open place to put ideas up on the table and look at them. And the stuff that you've done, I know there are other groups out there supporting all kinds of candidates. Some of the stuff that bothers me is, and again, this isn't the spot to talk about it much, the thing about these political action committees. Like when I heard something that, I hear that Dow Chemical is backing Ellie Cochran. Well, what kind of thing? Who knows what that's going on? Or Don Guzman has a special PAC. Well, all these things, or that you hear some of the Ellie Cochran or all kinds of accusations. I don't care about that. I want to see what are the issues, what are we going to do about them, what are we going to do in the private sector, and how are we going to come and agree on values in the private sector and find candidates in the private sector who can play roles like this guy has the land, this one is the financing, this one does the construction, creates the jobs. We don't have to change anything. And then we ask the government, we shouldn't have to ask. They're there to make what we are doing better. We should be able to bring issues to people and not to a bunch of politicians who somehow think that they're going to be the ones to make sure they set us on the right path. For example, and again, I guess I like Alan Arakawa, but King Arakawa would be the only word that's appropriate. Why he wants to be on council again and then run for mayor again and have his hand in projects. I like him. I would love him as a private citizen to be coming before a group of people and bringing up his ideas. And the people that are running for council that look like Alan Arakawa clones creates this illusion, even if it isn't real, of being a good old boy network. How's that, Paul? Is that about right?
Well, certainly, I think that
maybe not.
When you look at, for example, the collaborative approach that has happened, that has stifled affordable housing from moving forward, that has stifled our schools from. Well, really, there's only Alabama that's worse in terms of being rated right now, and so you look at how long these systemic issues have been going on and why they've been that way. You have to look at the voting history and the way that has been controlled. So I think you have to look at the people who are holding the power that we've given them. And I think that's why we've had such long, ongoing issues.
I think
that
so
affected
too.
Our community.
Well, you're such a diplomat.
And that's why getting the right people in, I think, is crucial.
This show is called the Diplomat here. I'm not doing it. You are.
There is a want to have Alan Arakawa clones or people along that same mindset, and also having that same type of support from Monsanto and Bayer and A&B. And so you can look at it, and say there's a different approach and consciousness to the future of the island.
Well,
and the questions I think that really come up is, does that really serve the residents?
I agree with you, but I also want to bring up, in what you just said even, when I hear the word A and B, I think, what tremendous potential to have these groups like A and B, you put Monsanto in that group, who have so much money and power. If we started talking about issues and we put politics aside and we come up with a plan, you hear it in community plan, but it's always the government making this plan. If we can show someone who owns some land the value in them being the bank and owning the land. Tamara Paulton put it out and talked about bond issues. But what if the owners themselves decided they have all that it takes to do this? And the builders decide that. And the good fellows and the A&Bs. And you know what would happen? I think what would happen is we would all be finding out we all agree with all these things. It's just a matter of politics. I think that somehow your group has become identified
Can I respond to that, Jason? Can I respond to that comment?
Yeah, I just want to be sure
I think that
Go ahead.
'cause I understand the intention of and having that so that we all collaborate and work together on the same page. But what we're dealing with are hierarchical structures. And in hierarchies, those who have and utilize the most power, authority, and influence really structure the decisions and how resources are utilized. So we do have, the will of the people, like we did with the moratorium, but that was overturned. So, there's different intentions that we're dealing with.
Well, I'm just saying right now, I'll give you right now, I'm jumping in because I want to hear what you have to say, but I think that it's important somehow. It's an adversarial thing. It seems like you say there's different intentions. I think that in a non-political year, Grant Chun just became head of Hale Maha'olu. What's that? That's a bunch of housing for seniors. Well, if A&B owns land, and there's a whole group that has done many housing projects, they could do a boilerplate and talk to no government and do with what they already have and make a lot of things happen. I don't think of them as a different mindset. I'm trying to see where they could become our heroes. Why wouldn't that be a good answer? Because they can fast track things that we're waiting for the government to decide forever. And we're watching these people wanting to sit in their seat for 20 years. By the way, you can see I have no opinions. That's why it's called the neutral zone. But I keep having this vision.
Well, I think that I think there's a conversation to have along that line, because there has been efforts to collaborate and to try to work together and to try to have resolution. But look at how many years. You said yourself, it's 20 years behind in terms of affordable housing.
Right. I'm not defending these old systems. I'm just bringing up the power of the people with or without an election. And I'm going to stand down here in a second, but I really feel that, I've been talking about these issues for 20 years and haven't been a candidate. I watched Nikhil Ananda, by the way. I think he's a candidate for your consideration after the primary. But I watched Nikhil Ananda standing up, and people say, why is he still running? Well, he's still running because he still believes in what he had to say, and he believes others are going to pick up and, put wind in his sail at some point. That's why. But I've been doing it without running. I keep thinking that if we don't take sides, we just come together on issues, that we're going to be further. And that's why I keep going back to the issues part and the solutions part of your website. Because I hope that people read what you've done and look at the candidates. Tasha Kama has been involved for a long time in things. I go down your list of candidates and I think, what a group of committed people. When people write letters in the paper that say, oh, they're coming in from outside, there are people that are not coming in from outside. These people are the fabric of our community. And in fact, I looked at it and I thought, look at all that. They sure look like a lot of women. In the primary, it looks like the Women's March took over. But these are just people that resonated with you had a big group of people. When I see the people that looked at these candidates, they were far and wide of all kinds of different perspectives. I wouldn't have thought of them as a special interest group, except the common values.
That's it. That's what we're talking about. And that's what we call Maui values.
Really good.
Especially for the Ohana candidates who really share that and really share the evolution and development of the island in a balanced way, Pono.
When you say Ohana candidates, what do you mean by that? Is that just a different group, or do you call them the Ohana candidates?
Well, the Ohana candidates, those were the people that we selected after our interview process.
I see.
And like I said, we had well over 40 that we interviewed, And it was a real, we really did our due diligence.
It gets confusing sometimes. When you said the Ohana candidates, I think of them as the Maui Pono candidates. But okay, the Ohana candidates. That's what I meant about confusion.
Well, we're using a term that actually Sean Lester started back in 2004, and they used the Ohana candidates as part of a coalition that was first started, and then it has continued over the years as candidates who really represent the Aina and the Keiki.
Yeah, well, so, that's really a good thing. That's why. And that's why I felt so good when we got a sponsor, the MauiMiracle.org. He's keeping his name out, but he's, just a regular civilian who's passionate about values and wants to bring people together across political lines. So we're happy to have him. We're really happy to have you. You've been really... I remember when I first saw you and the Maui Pono Network, I didn't kind of spot you, but you seemed like someone... what were you doing before? Because you were on Maui, I know, before. Many years, right?
Yep. Before I left Maui, I was here 12 years ago, and I helped start Mahale o Maui. That was the first community land trust.
I see.
So it was a real issue. It was a real attempt to really start to address the affordable housing issue. And then I got involved with activism on the mainland. I was in Massachusetts, and one of the things we did is start a nonprofit called Community Restart, and we started the first day center for the homeless and unemployed in our region. We had over 60 people a day come through our door, and we had showers and we provide computers and a lot of support. We also had a cot shelter. We were expecting about 20 people, a winter cot shelter. We had over 131. We had 131 people utilize the facility. Diabetes was a real big issue in our community, so we started 6 gardens in Pittsfield, and we started the food net, and we networked. So we were delivering about 20,000 pounds of produce to 14 meal sites.
So you were a
we had
community
5 houses that we got donated, and we were doing helping people with opioid addiction recovery.
So you were a community activist in the greatest way of using the word. You were active in the community, affecting solutions. That's fantastic, Paul. Well, thank you, and your commitment to that, and now with what you're doing with the Maui Pono Network. I hope that after the election, like you said, you guys are looking for donations. I guess even though you have a lot of volunteers, you also have expenses just trying to get those cards printed, I'm sure is some work, and keeping the website up and all that.
So any support along that line would be very beneficial, and I would really encourage all of your listeners to go to the MauiPonoNetwork.org and really start to utilize the information that we have there and help spread the word about systemic change. And really that's what this is about. We're looking at a deeper system change in our governance, and as together by community, we can really make that happen. So Jason, thank you for what you're doing. I think it's really important to have kind of a neutral place where really when you're in a neutral place, it just reflects truth and balance and Pono,
Yeah.
And that's and so I really appreciate the intention and focus of your show.
Thank you. And I think that I brought you on. Some people would say, why are you bringing on somebody who is a political activist group? Well, you're really a citizens active group, and your political intentions are to elect people, but you're going about it in a very loving community way, and I'm very happy. And I notice also that you have opened up to the Hawaiian community, so you seem to have interest in candidates and they in you from all sides. I'm seeing a really I've spoken to people at the Kingdom of Hawaii who have very much respected what you guys have been doing, in some ways setting the groundwork for potential future transfer of power. Have you guys done anything much with the Hawaiian group specifically?
I have on a personal level, but as the Maui Pono Network, our focus has really been with the process here in Maui County at this point in time.
Well, your values are very, very in common with Hawaiian culture. I'm very happy to see the honoring of the land and the way you're caring for people and caring about the process is very refreshing. Do you mind if we go through some of the races?
Jason, I just want to say just one thing on that. To me, what it boils down to is when we had our opening meeting and Alika Atai gave the blessing, and he opened up all the doors and windows of the facility and asked the ancestors to come and be part of this and support it. I really felt that presence. And that presence, I feel, is still is an integral part of how we're evolving. So, anyway.
Well, thank you.
Well, because it just touched me so deeply with what Alika brought in.
Well, I like Alika. I also like Alice Lee, nice person, but I like Alika. I think what he has brought to our council and our island is hopefully a bridge with a whole community of Hawaiians who see that they can stand in two worlds. He's done a really good job of being involved yet being Hawaiian right from the core and being a supporter of the kingdom when it comes, if it comes, all that. But he's standing up now because of his values. And that we can bring, especially in this time when we now have same-day voting. Thank you, Kaniela Ing. You know, the same-day voting means if people rally to these ideas that we're all sharing, there's still time to be part of this process. So just a great time and a great
So can I just say a little something on that?
Absolutely.
At the Wailuku Community Center, actually starting today through August 9th, you can register and vote, or if you're already registered, you can vote right there at the Wailuku Community Center from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Wow, that's exciting, isn't it?
So in this election cycle, the state races are crucial because really it's kind of their final in many ways. Because the key race is Democrat. So if you could go in and vote and check out our website, you can get the download of the Ohana candidates, or there's a lot of cards throughout that's been passed around. We've passed out over 40,000.
Wow.
So,
MauiPonoNetwork.org. And that's really great to know. So now until the 9th of August at the Wailuku Community Center. Which one is the Wailuku Community Center? Is that now down from the post office, that area? That used to be...
yeah.
Oh, well, we named it after a council person. Who's going to tell me who's... Someone will call and tell me that's Velma Santos Center. I think it is, in fact.
That's right. That's another name for it, yes.
She was a great part of Maui County's past, and that's a great spot to do it. Well, that's very important stuff. Now, we have probably 5 minutes left, Paul, a little bit less. But I want to do something that we haven't done yet, and that is quickly go through the races. Can we do that? I mean, for mayor, I know that you had lots of candidates, and you guys chose Ellie Cochran. Why was that?
Well, again, I think if you go to GradeMauiCouncil.org, you can look at where Ellie is rated in terms of her voting history versus the voting history of the other candidates.
Okay, let's go to any other reasons? Because I'm just going to go through them quickly and just sort of name the names because, we can't have candidates on this show until after when I send certified letters. But I want your voice to be heard. So it's because of the grading of important issues that you guys kind of picked Ellie? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, absolutely. In terms of her consistency, about her willingness to look at systemic change
Let me see.
And really integrate that within Maui County. She is she's a very strong advocate for all the solutions that are listed on the website.
With 3 minutes to go, we're going to be sort of like Jeopardy, where I'm going to give you the Jeopardy answer, and you're going to come up with a question or something. But we're going to quickly run through. So on council, you guys, in the primary, you chose Tasha Kama in Kahului. We can vote on all the races, by the way, everyone. Remember that. You can vote on all 9 council races.
That's very important.
So
vote
on
for all 9 county council.
And if it's in the primary and you can't, vote for as many as you can. And also stay inside. If you're a Democrat, you got to stay inside and vote all Democrat in the primary. In the final, you can do anything you want. But you have to stay consistent or they're going to throw out your vote. So Tasha Kama in Kahului, Alika Atai in Wailuku. You picked Trinette Furtado in Haiku area. You chose any others in the primary that I know I want to talk about in council? I forgot somebody.
In terms of
West Maui, Tamara
primary,
Paulton,
I think
right?
that it's really important also to mention the state races.
And the state races, yeah. I just want to look, because you talked about council. You are in your primary. I think we just hit them all. There might be some more in the general you'll put in. And now you're talking about in the state races. You can hit me. I know names, but I'll let you do it. Who are the names you would promote in the state races?
District 11, there's Tina Weinberger.
Tina Wildberger for Kihei, District 11. What about, just give me some names so I can hear.
Tiara Lawrence.
Tiara Lawrence.
Mako.
Okay.
Tiara Lawrence. Right. And then for Kihei and Lahaina is Therese Amato.
Therese Amato.
District 6.
Not tomato, Therese Amato. She's a crucial
very, very important race because she's going against Roz Baker,
who's a very powerful
leader. And Roz
leader.
Baker has been a big proponent of Monsanto and Bayer, and also getting mandatory vaccines.
Well, again, we'll let people explore your website. So you like Therese. Any other state candidates we want to be sure to mention now?
Yeah, Michael Tengen, also for Senate District 7.
Okay, great. He's a nice gentleman. I met him. I liked him. Paul, we're going to be saying goodbye here in a second. You're the Maui Pono Network, Paul DesLauriers. You've done a great job. Thank you for being a great guest on our show. I may have been a little out of line on occasion, but, that's why we call it neutral.
Exactly. No, you want to have discussion and debate and look at different aspects of things. But I think the bottom line is getting to truth, and I think that's something that we're certainly on the same page about.
Well, we look forward to talking to you again, both on the air and in person. And if you see someone coming at you with a card, take it and take a look and see what's going on with the MauiPonoNetwork.org. Thank you, Paul. Have a wonderful day today.
Okay.
Aloha.
That was Joel also. He's happy that you were here.
Yeah, very happy. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy day to stop with us.
Aloha. Oh, boy, Joel. Now we know the buzz was from the other phone.
The other phone.
Well, thank you for joining us, Joel. I didn't give you much chance to talk.
I learned a lot. You sounded like you had the questions that you needed answered, and that's what's important. And then I was providing the neutral point of view.
No, you were good. You can see, I don't think of myself as someone with no opinions. I have lots of opinions.
Yeah.
But I want to work together. I don't want to find someone and call them the enemy, because they're not the enemy. We really all can agree that if we can solve the problems, we can solve them for everybody. Joel, you've been a wonderful guest. Joel Agnew is the co-host, and what's the name of your show, Joel?
Well, we have a television show here with Akaku called What's Going On.
You and Michael?
No, Michael is back at Maui
on stage.
On stage, yeah, he's focusing on that. No, a fellow named Barry Wurst, who is a film critic, is now my new partner, and he's very knowledgeable. We have a lot of good fun with that, and like I said, it runs about 9 times a week, but it starts on Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock.
Good. Well, we're off the air, Maui Neutral Zone. Checking out. Thank you. Good to have you with us. Aloha.
Aloha.